It was after 10 p.m. when his mom and dad installed him on the Greyhound bus. Young Mike Wilson, having situated himself in his seat as a bus station attendant, came up the aisle with a handful of pillows, stopping, handing the young man one, commenting about his comfort. He determined that it had been arranged by his parents, as it was Mike's inaugural overnight bus journey to Wairika, and like most first, he had that alien feeling of uncertainty. Settling in for the night, noticing he and all those aboard were not alone as the bus ventured north, an unexpected guest had joined the travelers. Even as sleep approached, he would briefly open an eye to verify its presence through the bus window. Its wondrous gracing glow could be seen traversing the night sky, accompanying the travelers. The ever-presence of the moon. The morning and his Wairika destination having both arrived, he stepped off the bus that summer morning, greeted by an awaiting Aunt Della Eastlick. He hadn't slept very well, spending time deciphering the appearance of the moon moving with the bus, but the thought of food was foremost in his mind at the present. The young man, feeling he was among strangers, but realizing they were relatives, having only made their acquaintances sparingly in the past. His cousins Johnny and Jenny were up and about, as he ate a bowl of cereal while waiting for his Aunt Bernice to facilitate their trip to Etna, Scott Valley home. With his aunt's arrival, Mike was reintroduced to a memory, the reserved-looking lady, very correct and proper in her dress and mannerisms. The lady was familiar. Her stay was brief. They soon departed, making a stop at a large grocery store, which the boy later found to be the customary for Scott Valley residents when in Wairika. Leaving, Mike couldn't help but realized they were riding in a pristine late-model Mercury Monterey, a two-door sedan with twin exhaust pipes, and was impressed. But what was puzzling, it didn't seem to fit the demeanor or character of Auntie Bernice. The trip over Wairika Mountain was one of remembrance, when traveling downhill, on the two-lane blacktop, which snaked its way up and down the mountain. The Mercury would back off under compression, the mufflers emitting a resonant popping sound. Even Mike knew the sound was made by the new mufflers called glass packs, and later finding, the car had belonged to his cousin Bobby, Bernice's son, tragically having died the previous year, his Air Force plane having crashed during a flight training exercise. The Wairika Mountain Road had numerous switchbacks and accommodating turnouts, so a laboring slow-crawling logging truck could pull to the side of the road, allowing the automobiles to pass. On the Scott Valley slope of the mountain was a natural spring area, in years past provided water for the radiators of overheated cars making the uphill climb. People still paused, but only to fill their containers with the pristine water for personal use. On the way down the mountain, his aunt pointed out Robber's Roost, the rock formation from which the legendary Old West outlaw, Black Bart, hid behind, waiting for an unsuspecting stagecoach to appear, or so the tale is told. Descending into Scott Valley, passing through Fort Jones, the town having gone through 4 name changes until acquiring its present name in 1860, and was the birthplace of his mother. The Mercury continuing on to the community of Etna. The small town of less than 500 situated below the beautiful majestic Marble Mountains and the Trinity Alps wilderness. Even in the summertime, the mountains still wore a crown of snow, adding to their already regal appearance. The young man getting settled in at his aunt and uncle's Diggles Street home, his aunt directing him to Bobby's bedroom, Mike noticing that all of Bobby's youthful accumulations of treasured stuff was still present. His aunt mentioning, he was the first to stay in the room since Bobby had died. Mike questioned himself, trying to remember when he had last seen his aunt and uncle, cousins Bobby and Jerry. But couldn't recall them ever visiting his family in Oakland. It had to have been when he lived in Wairika during the war while his dad was overseas. The first couple of days found Mike curious about the old wooden house next door to his aunt and uncle's, To him it looked like a renovated barn from the turn of the century. He soon introduced himself to a girl about his age and her younger brother, making friends with Patricia Cortez. Later the two sharing a mutual interest, Mike having discovered a pair of well-used key-adjustable roller skates that had belonged to Bobby. Patricia also having skates. The two entertaining the sidewalk which bordered the other side of Diggles Street. His Aunt Bernice on several occasions, inviting him to join her on the 2-block walk into town, discovering he was rewarded with an ice cream cone. But that wasn't the reason he accepted. It was an inner feeling that she wanted the company. His aunt also was rightly corrective, after noticing him engraving his name on a tree with a knife, amiably saying, "Fools' names like fools' faces are often seen in public places." Something that he knew would be ingrained forever. His month-long stay was a lesson in regularity. Their meals were promptly served at the same time, morning, noon, and night. Bedtime was at 10 o'clock, and ready for bed, he could their bedroom radio, and the Richfield Reporter 10 o'clock newscast. Mike feeling comfortable staying with his aunt and uncle, looking forward to exploring what each new day would bring.